Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for you. Oh my goodness. If you happen to listen to this on the day it airs, it's Valentine's Day 2021. So happy Valentine's Day, my sweet friends. So, going with that theme, can you and your partner have different realities? So, how this was inspired was recently we had a very bizarre wind storm. I don't even know what to call it. I've never experienced anything like it before. I was in the master bathroom, and all of a sudden it sounded like a plane was coming towards the house. Like it was so loud, but it was like it wasn't there yet. You could hear it coming, and it was wind. Like it still blows my mind how bizarre it was. I've never heard wind coming. I've heard wind, as it's being windy, but I've never heard it coming. So I looked outside and I was like, what is going on? I was looking for the airplane that was going to hit our house. Luckily there was not an airplane, but this bizarre wind. I think they said it got up to 140 kilometers an hour. Incredible. Anyway, we went out for a little walk after it ended to see, we kind of assumed there'd be lots of trees down and such. Luckily, the only damage that there was the antenna on the top of our house that connects us to our internet was literally broken half. Like it's quite a long, and so it just broke right over. So this is a long story to tell you what I'm going to tell you. But anyway, so I phoned them the next morning and they said, you know what, we've got one other tower, like an actual tower of theirs that had broken half. He said, we need to do that. So we'll come out the next day. So that meant like a day and a half without internet, which I know, right? I mean, what? Anyway, but we can hotspot off our phone a little bit, but not that much. Not as much as we use internet. So anyway, it was a little bit different for about a day and a half. And he had told me that they would come between 1 and 3 on the day. And by 3:02, I was wondering what is going on. By 4:02, I was phoning them saying, hey, what's going on? Because if you're not familiar, Alberta, Canada, in January is dark around 5 p.m. Now, the longest day, I think, the shortest day is December, in the middle of December. So we're starting to get a little bit more light. So I think sunsets maybe around 4:30, and so you have light for a little while after. Maybe it's closer to 5. Whatever. The time is very short. So it's 4:02. I phone. The guy says yes, they've got delayed. They have 2 more things they need to do before they get to you. And we were sitting there, and hubby said, well, they're not going to get done today. Looking outside, looking at it's starting to get dark already. And in that moment, I joined him. And it wasn't that I said anything, but energetically I went into, yeah. Because it kind of matched my point of view already. Because I was watching outside, I knew there was limited time. I knew that the fix, although a fairly easy fix, would take some time. So they also had to gauge that. It was all, and it was like, oh, and he said it. And then about 4 minutes later, he said it again. And I joined him again, just energetically, didn't say anything. And I realized, though, how heavy it was. Because I joined him and I was like, oh man, another day without internet, and we're already now maxed at our cell capacity because of the data we've used so far, and kind of did all that, and it got heavy. Now, most times in the past, prior to me studying Access Consciousness, which I started doing in 2011, I would have recognized that as it's heavy because I don't want it to be true, and it's going to be true. And anyway, what I know now is that heavy means it's a lie. Now, what I did was I didn't go, oh, no, it's a lie. That means they're coming. What I actually recognized, I'm going to say for probably the very first time in my life that I got it this quickly, was that I had a choice. I had a choice. I could join hubby in They're Not Coming Today, which he really doesn't have a big point of view about. He of course uses the internet, but not like I do. It's not a big thing in his world. And so, so I could join that. I could create that reality with him. But what I recognized was that I had another choice. And that is to me what the lie was. The lie was I was buying the lie. I had no other choice, that I had to go along with this reality of They're Not Coming Today. And I know this sounds really like ridiculous. Like, who the hell cares about if your internet came one day or the next day? I get that. But if you look at it from the bigger perspective, and actually I care a lot. So if you use your internet a lot like I do, then you might understand what I'm talking about. But ultimately, if we look at the bigger picture of this and how often we do this, it doesn't have to be about internet at all, but just in our everyday life. If the media says blah, 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 do you join them in that reality? Or do you recognize you have another choice? Yeah. And so as I was sitting there and I realized that I was joining, and the heavy wasn't actually heavy because we had to go another day without internet. The heavy was because I was buying the lie. I didn't have another choice. And this was all just going on in my head. And I went, oh, so what would I like? I was like, okay, what would I like to create? I would like them to come today. I would like this to be completed today. I would like the internet to be running today by 5 p.m. or whatever time. So I got that energy and I was like, wow, so I can have that reality. I can actualize that. I can choose towards that reality. The only way I can do that, though, is by not resisting hubby's reality. So this is where I would say that I've tripped myself up more than any other way with this sort of stuff, is that I would resist or react or align and agree with the other person's reality. So if I really didn't like it, I'd be like, no, that's not going to happen, rah, 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 which is what I used to do. So if you've never heard me tell this story, I must tell this story because it's funny. And it's funny because it's true. So before I studied Access Consciousness, I did all sorts of different modalities and things. And one of them was the law of attraction. Now, I am not saying there's anything wrong with the law of attraction. There's nothing wrong with it. It's probably more just how I took it. So anyway, so hubby would come home from work. This was back years and years ago when he worked at a soft seat theater. They did plays and shows and stuff like that. So he would come home and he would be cranky about something. I don't mean this was every day. I just giving an example. He would come home, he'd be cranky about something. And I would go, and this is literal, I would say to him out loud, stop being so negative. You're being negative and you're going to create more negativity in our lives because you're being negative. Kettle, black, pot, If you don't understand that analogy, that is when, the kettle calling the pot black. Anyway, doesn't matter. But it's like I was judging him to get him to stop judging. So who was actually the judger was me. Like, it's so funny to me now. The time, I don't think you could have convinced me otherwise. But I had such a strong point of view that his reality was my reality. So I needed to change his reality for me to have a different reality. Oh my God, that's exhausting just to talk about even. So really, if you recognize you can have a totally different reality, though the only way you can do it is through not judging it and not making the other person's reality wrong. It's just truly from this space of like, okay, that's what they would like. That's what they're asking for. What would I like? And putting our creative energy into what we would like, rather than fighting against or aligning and agreeing, or kind of that victim energy I was talking about, like when I was like, oh yeah, you know, he's right, they won't get here today, they can't do it today, it's going to be dark, like all of that. And that isn't us, guys. We are infinite beings. We are infinite magic. We are infinite miracles walking that can create whatever it is we're willing to ask for. Yeah. So everywhere you haven't been willing to create your reality, no matter what anybody around you is choosing, will you just store and uncreate all of that and return it to sender with consciousness attached, right, wrong, good, bad, online, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyond. So now that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. If you're not familiar with that, you can go to theclearingstatement.com and you'll find out all the information. It's brilliant. It works like a magic wand. So as we talk about this sort of stuff, when we have these kind of like, I want to shut this off, she's pissing me off, you know, we have all that sort of energy come up. When we run that clearing statement, it dissipates it. Yeah. How does it get any better? So what occurred, once I got my head out of my ass, once I stopped playing the victim and looked at what I desired, what actually was going to work for me, within 3 minutes, they drove in the yard. They finished up, you know, just in time. It had got dark and just in time for them to safely get off of the roof and all the things. And we got the internet. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm willing and that it was so quick for me this time. Like, I mean, yeah. So really, what would it be like? And I mean, I titled it as your partner, you know, as your love, as your date, as whoever it is. But just know, this isn't just about that one person, or maybe you have 10 people, whatever it is. This is everything. Like, this is literally being willing for you to have a different reality than what the media is telling you, than what the government is telling you, than what your organization, if you have one, is telling you, then what, like whatever it is, whoever it is, you can create something different as long as you're willing to not judge what others are creating and choose what works for you. So if I wanted to prove hubby wrong, I mean, I've never wanted to do that, but if I did, it wouldn't have created anything. It wouldn't have created more. It would have created something, but it wouldn't have created more. So this is the other piece. If we're doing it from, well, I'm going to prove them right, I'm going to prove them wrong. It's not that it might not show up. Who knows? But it's not going to be the same. Whereas if you can look at and be present with, okay, that's what they're choosing. What would I like to choose? Does that work for me? So if you have a partner and you guys share money and they are overspenders and you like to have extra money in your account, then you can have a different reality. And it might take some changes. It might take you having an account that they can't access, that you have that extra money in, so you feel good about that. You know, again, we go back to what actually works for you and acknowledging what works for you. Being really honest with you about what works for you. Now, maybe you haven't chose it. So maybe you know you would love to have extra money just sitting in a bank account, but you've never chose it yet. Then start looking, okay, what do I require to put in place for me to choose it? Like for some people, they require a bank account that they can't access without going into the bank. You know, make it a little bit harder. So maybe you've got 2 accounts at your bank. One you can't access online, one you can, and that one is the one that, I don't know, $50 a month gets taken out and put into the one you can't touch or something like that. Like, what do you need to put in place to get that going if you know it's something you would like? And I mean, I'm using money as an example, but it can be anything. I mean, I know for myself, for moving my body, I enjoy it, I love it, and I still love a bit of a challenge is maybe the word. Like I need to have something that I'm working towards. And so recently I started this 30-day program with my resistance bands. Oh my gosh, they're so much fun. And so I looked at that and I thought, okay, so what is it going to take to inspire me to choose the 30 days in a row with, of course, ensuring my body would like to choose it 30 days in a row, because we don't want to override our body. But if body was a yes for every day for 30 days, what is it going to take to inspire me? So I texted some family members and I said, hey guys, anybody want to do a 30-day challenge with me? So there's a group of us on a text every day. We send a photo of the exercise we did. It's just for fun. It's works for me. And I know that that's what's required for me to have this. Will there be a day I don't require that? It doesn't matter, actually. I don't care. I just know that I'll check in with me. What is it going to take? What is it going to take? So if there's something if you know there's a different reality you would like in whatever area, whether it's your career or your business or your money or your body or your relationships or whatever, wherever, what works for you? And then what's it going to take for you to create that? What are the action steps? And whose reality have you not been willing to invalidate? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So this often comes up in foundation classes. Well, probably any class, but a lot of times it's in a foundation class where somebody will say, well, I can't do that because, my parents, let's say, would have never chose that. Let's say they're talking about money. I couldn't have $1 million because my parents never chose that, and that would be bad or something, or rude or mean or whatever. And so then we start clearing it. When we get to where the person's almost ready to choose it or everything else is cleared, I will actually ask them this question. Truth, are you willing to invalidate your, in this case, parents' reality with money? Yeah, because it's a great question. Not because you're stuck to whatever you get. If you get that you're not willing, it doesn't mean, oh, well, you got to just sit back and suffer through. That's not it. We can still do clearings beyond that. But it gives you great information, because if you're not willing to invalidate somebody's reality in whatever area, then you're always going to create their reality. You're always going to prove them right. Whew. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And here's the thing. Creating your reality doesn't have to be making them wrong. This is where we've really messed up and we've really bastardized our capacities, because we say, oh, well, if we create more money than our parents did, then I'm making them wrong. It's like, no, you're just choosing something else. Now, they might make themselves wrong. They might go into the judgment. You've got to let that be up to them. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. It's one of the things that I would say for myself and many people that I've worked with is really this energy of making other people comfortable. Like, I've really got to make sure I don't do too much, or I don't be too much, or I don't receive too much, or I don't whatever. I don't brag, or nobody knows about this or that, because other people will be uncomfortable. And a lot of times it's not a cognitive thought. These are just things. It's just an energy we operate from, when really other people's comfort or discomfort is none of our business. That's their choice. If you're only willing to create to the amount that other people around you are comfortable, you're probably going to have a very small life. Everything that just brought up, will you destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. So I, as you guys well know, if you have been here a while, hashtag get your butt to foundation. I've got one coming up again. If you're listening to this when it airs, I've got one coming up in about 10 days, February 24th. We're going to do it over 5 days, 4 hours a day. Makes it a lot easier in front of your computer because it's an online foundation. And then, of course, other foundations, and there's other foundations by other facilitators. But please, hashtag get your butt to foundation. all of this stuff, every radio show that I've ever spoke of, pretty much, I would say, I can't say for sure because I don't remember them all, are all gifts and insights and awarenesses and inspirations and tools from Access Consciousness, which bars is the first step and then foundation. And how does it get any better than this? Truly, what else is possible? What else is possible? Yeah. So, can you and your partner have different realities? Absolutely, you can. You absolutely can. You've just got to stop making them wrong and you right, or vice versa, them right and you wrong, and let them have theirs. So in this case, there was really only one reality. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was thinking like in terms of the internet, like there's only one way it could turn out, but actually not, because hubby still could have had, if he was really, like if he really had a strong point of view and he really was kind of creating to not have the internet that night, he could have still done it in his way. So my reality was they come and they fix it and it works, which is what we created. And again, he didn't have a strong point of view about it. He was just stating what he thought to be true. But if he did, he could have actualized his devices not working and so not been able to access the internet if he was really, really gung-ho to have his reality. So yes, you can totally have a different reality than your partner and still create a magical relationship. And that was a thing that I really, really, really received from Access. I mean, there's so many things that I've received using these tools, but that's one of it, is that hubby can be him, I can be me, and we can co-create magic together without it having to be just one way or one thing, or like, I don't think I put that into words very well, but we get to be ourselves and we get to make the choices that work for us. And we can judge the other. Absolutely we can. And we have found it to create so much more to not. What I know for myself for sure, I'm sure he knows it too, but I can't speak for him right now. I can only speak for myself. What I know for sure is that if I do judge him or if I go into that energy, that's my choice. So it's only going to it's going to create something. And I know now, with all of the experience, all of these years, is that doesn't create the future I desire. It doesn't create the marriage I desire. It sure as hell doesn't create the sex I desire if I'm in judgment of him. And so when I look at that and I look at what I would like to create, when I look at the reality I would like to be living consistently, then those things, judgment is not a part of it. No matter what, not for me, not for him, not for us, not for the world. I mean, judgment, it's in itself kills. This is why when I was saying earlier, if I would have went into judgment of him, he shouldn't talk like that and he's being negative and like, if I would have went into judgment, it would have killed me creating the reality I desired. Why? Because I was putting all of my creative energy into the judgment, which is going to create more judgment. Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9 podbox shorts, boys and beyonds. Judgment is such a big piece, guys. And I know that it's something that it's not really talked about. It's not really understood. In fact, we're taught to judge. We're taught what's good and what's bad and what's right and what's wrong. But all of that takes judgment. Like, what if we be the allowance that we truly be, which means we judge nothing, we allow everything, and we're never a doormat. So it doesn't mean we sit back and we allow things to go on that aren't creating what we desire. We actually can have so much more awareness. We can actually be infinite awareness when we're not playing with judgment. But if we're judging it, we're shutting off our awareness. We're putting what I call blinders on to what's actually possible. Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So if you never aligned and agreed with or resisted and reacted to your partner's reality, what magic could you be? Yeah. And my experience is the more magic you be, the more the people around you will, not cognitively, but energetically will start creating towards what you've created. And I don't mean the same things, but that reality of possibilities, that reality of joy, that reality of laughter, that reality of spaciousness, they'll start making choices towards that. Not everyone. That's a lie, but many people around you, once we're invited to something that feels really yummy and expansive and delicious, we usually keep going back for more. So that's where you'll find the less you judge, the more people that want to hang out with you, because there's so much space being with somebody who doesn't judge you, compared to what a lot of times we're used to is that really dense, heavy energy of people who just live in judgment because that's all they know. So what if you started being honest with you of the realities you desired, your financial reality, your reality with your body, your reality with your relationship or marriage or partnership or whatever it might be, your business, all of those. If you started being really honest with you about what you desired those to be and choosing towards those, what else might be possible that you've never even considered? Yeah. So anything that doesn't allow that to show up as if by magic, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And come and join me somewhere, guys. I would love to see you online or in person when we can. You'll be able to find the link somewhere. If you're listening to this, you can message me for the link of my upcoming events, and I will get that to you. Have an awesome week, sweet friends, and I look forward to chatting again soon.